World War II began in September 1939 as a conflict between the Allied and Axis powers. As it progressed into the 40s, the United States was merely an ally until the Japanese bombed Hawaii on December 7, 1941, an attack known as the Attack on Pearl Harbor. President Franklin D. Roosevelt declared war on Japan the following day. Germany and Italy proceeded to declare war on the U.S. 3 days later, plunging the United States into the deadliest conflict since the Civil War. World War II resulted in over 400,000 American casualties, including those killed in action, prisoners of war, and missing in action. These American troops were not honored for their service until 60 years later, when in 2004 President George W. Bush dedicated the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C.
The memorial is vast, spanning a length of 337 feet. 4.4 million people pilgrimage to the memorial annually, making it one of Washington, D.C.'s most famous memorials. The sign is a tall block of granite, its Grecian lettering a solemn introduction to the memorial's attributes. The U.S. seal is engraved below its letters, a simple yet patriotic greeting. At the foot of its flagpole, there is a single quote which states, "Americans came to liberate, not to conquer, to restore freedom and to end tyranny." This quote declares America's role in the war as the protector of Europe against German rule. Above the quote, the 4 branches of the military are shown. They form the flagpole which supports the American flag at the top. This flagpole represents the unity of the U.S. military in its attempts to protect the U.S. from harm. As one enters the monument, they stand in front of the Washington Monument, which honors the 18th century founding father, and they face the Lincoln Memorial in honor of the 19th century preserver of our nation. The World War II Memorial in between honors the 20th century Americans who served, placing them on as high a pedestal as these famous presidents. Along the wall of the entrance ramp, there are bronze plaques depicting scenes of wartime and peacetime. From soldiers preparing to jump out of a plane, to a parade celebrating their victory. These scenes are three-dimensional, casting a shadow behind the soldiers' backs and giving them depth, so that they seem more lifelike. Their faces are stern, focused, and vigilant, showcasing their valiance. There are not only men portrayed, but women as well, because the war was known as the People's War. These brave men and women have been encased in permanent, virtually indestructible bronze.
The 56 pillars that line the memorial are engraved with the names of each American state, territory, and province during the war. The pillars are placed in the order in which they joined the Union, beginning with Delaware, and alternating back and forth between the Pacific and Atlantic arches, similar to that of a military procession. On each pillar are 2 wreaths, one on each side of the pillar, that alternate between oak and wheat, and embody the nation's agriculture and industry during the war's progression. In between each pillar is a thick bronze rope linking them, signifying a strong, durable, unified, and unbreakable bond between the states during the war. As one enters the memorial on the east and west wings, they walk through the Atlantic and Pacific arcs, respectively. This placement of the arcs represent the Atlantic Ocean on the east coast and the Pacific Ocean on the west coast of the United States. Inside each arc is a small balcony overseeing the rest of the memorial. Similarly, a tall statue of 4 bronze eagles is shown holding a laurel wreath, symbolizing victory at sea, on land, and in the air. Outside of each arc is a small waterfall and wading pool. Each pool is marked with the names of the battles that commenced in that area, such as the Battle of Midway in the Pacific and the invasion of Sicily in the Atlantic. The granite 43-foot giants are the tallest, sturdiest features of the memorial, casting the rest of the memorial and ergo the war in their shadows, bringing to light how significant the battles over these 2 oceans were. The Freedom Wall is located on the north end of the memorial. Here we mark the price of freedom, it reads. The wall is adorned with 4,000 golden stars, each representing 100 lives for a total of over 400,000 American casualties. During wartime, the gold star was a symbol of family sacrifice. The overwhelming amount is mirrored in the small wading pool underneath, letting the viewer take in the immense loss due to the war. It marks the most serene sight, without fountains, as people come to pay their respects.
In our opinion, this memorial serves as a fine tribute to the soldiers who served over 60 years ago. It is well maintained and documents the unity of the American people during the war. However, it's long overdue. The war occurred over 60 years ago, and it was not nationally commemorated until now, whereas other memorials, such as the Vietnam Memorial, were commemorated 10 years after their occurrence.